I'm one of the biggest Rush fans in the world. Mr. Neil Peart is God, as far as I'm concerned. And everybody knows that about me.
We're all with you over here, absolutely.
And everybody who knows me knows that. And it was always my ambition to do something like that. And I got the call. It was. I also remember that the guys. I said, I must do this. It's a bucket list thing. And the guy, a band called Tom Sawyer, were UK's top Rush tribute band. We're looking for a drummer and auditions. I thought, I'm going for that.
Cool.
Did the audition, got the job. I was absolutely over the moon for that at the time. And then they go, right, you've got 2 months to learn a 2.5 hour set. Here are all the tracks and here are all the clicks.
You have to really put your Rush fandom to the test, especially as a drummer.
Yeah. 2 things really that came out of that was when they said, here are the clicks. And I went, clicks? Yeah, you've got all the sequence tracks to learn. And I'd never played with click.
Never before,
at that point.
Wow.
Never.
Okay.
I went, okay, no problem. So I spent the last 2 months rehearsing because the clicks were going from 4/4 to 5/4 or 6/4.
All over the place, yeah, everything.
Yeah. And that was so difficult because if you're one click out, it's a train wreck.
That's right.
No pressure.
And of course, you're playing every one of Neil Peart's charts, note for note.
And the good point here is that when we talk about pipe band people stand and listen, and they listen to pipe band people like that. And it's the only band I've ever been in where the crowd were standing going.
Because every one of us that are drummers, we know every one of those notes.
Yes.
You better get that third part of Tom Sawyer just
Absolutely
right.
right.
Yep.
Absolutely right. And that was a challenge, but I think I rose to that challenge because of the fact that I played in competitive pipe bands, so I knew what the pressure was.
You knew what that was. That's right.
So did 5 or 6 years of that up and down the UK.
So you won the Neil Peart drumming prize a few times.
Yeah,
that's good. I have to ask you, because I as well, being my first percussion instrument was the drum set. It was my gateway that really allowed me to fall in love with music or discover that love. But for Rush specifically, what was either the album, the track, what was it that you heard the first time and said, oh I have to do that?
Easy one. It's like everybody, 2112.
Okay, excellent.
I can remember exactly. I was sitting in a flat in Renfrew with some friends, and this guy put on the album 2112, and I was sitting chatting to somebody. Suddenly, and I went, what was that? Who was that?
The world stopped.
It stopped. It virtually stopped.
Yes.
Who was that? And he showed me the album, and of course there's 3 guys standing there with kimonos. I'm going,
yep.
This is a rock band. And
was this around the time the album came out? Was the album pretty new at this point?
It was pretty new. I think it was pretty new, but I think no, probably not. I think it was more heading towards Permanent Waves, because I'd sort of listened to these albums, and then just maybe 6 months later, Permanent Waves came out.
Okay, so it was a little bit time after it had been released.
Yeah.
But you heard it, you saw the album, you saw the kimonos.
I was sold.
It's over.
I was sold. I wanted that kimono.
Exactly. I want to be that guy in there. For me, it was Moving Pictures.
Yes.
And I mean, Moving Pictures came out around the time I was born.
Yeah.
I actually did not. I knew some of their popular songs. I know I had heard Tom Sawyer and Limelight in the background.
Yeah.
But the first time a drummer who was much older and much more experienced than me said, "Have you heard of Rush or have you heard of Neil Peart?" He set me down, and this was the dad of one of my best friends, and he played for me Moving Pictures. And I remember he didn't play me Tom Sawyer, he played the album.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was a fantastic drummer, and he showed me the album, he showed me all these things he had, and at that point for me, it was done. I was probably early high school at the time, and I literally went from cool rock charts, Metallica, Nirvana, to Neil Peart.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm kind of still there to an effect of that sort of influence.
I think what I love about Neil is he's one of the most intelligent drummers I've ever experienced in my life, and his fills are unique, and he spends a lot of time thinking about those. But he's quiet and unassuming, and a wee bit like myself in a sense.
That's right.
We get on with the job and do what we need to do. And there was a kindred spirit I could feel.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying I'm as good as him, definitely not, but I just felt that with him.
I could
you know?
totally see that. I mean, I've never had the pleasure of meeting Neil like most people haven't. I mean, anything he's published, I've seen it, and I will certainly read all of his books before too much time passes. And I can agree with you. I could definitely see Allan Craig being a kindred spirit to Neil Peart. Absolutely.
It's interesting because at that time when I was younger and I played drum kit, nobody really impressed me that much in the rock side until I heard Neil Peart. And I certainly, once I heard these fills, I'm thinking, my, this guy's got good chops.
Yeah.
And then I heard Living La Strangiato, and I
man.
wow. Oh.
Yeah. And then I'm sure you came to find that he was also the lyricist.
Yes.
And I mean, all these things, he really is a phenomenal guy.
So, big, unassuming guy, slightly like myself in a sense, and get on with the job, and that's where I saw that thing. So yeah, I mean, I loved that part of my life. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I still play to this day, off and on, and I still play those tracks as well, just to keep my hand in.
I mean, just keep the blood flowing through your heart the right way,
But playing in these bands and playing with musicians of that quality. Open your eyes to the whole different life of pipe bands.
Absolutely.